Hello and welcome to my opinion on the top 5 best Rebel space units in Awakening of the Rebellion. Starting us off with the honorable mention is the B-Wing. It's probably not a surprise to see a fighter-focused faction's best bomber on the list, but what may surprise you is just how strong the B-Wing's secondary weapons are. When you look at the B-Wing, what you see is a bomber with 4 heavy proton torpedoes, but what is also very strong are its surplus of other weapons. If you have enough B-Wings or other units targeting the hull of a capital ship, you will see these secondary weapons cause even more damage than the primary torpedoes. Overall, B-Wings are a vital unit in the Rebel Alliance Navy simply because alongside the Rebel Alliance's biggest strength of fighter superiority, B-Wings will cruise through the space uncontested, able to wreak havoc on unescorted enemy capital ships. B-Wings do have a high survivability but will take Tier 3 fighter technology in order to build, so they can be harder to obtain depending on how you prioritize your technology. What I love most about this bomber is just how much damage it causes outside of its proton torpedoes. The number 5 spot goes to the underrated CR-90. The CR-90 is a great anti-fighter corvette that has a high survivability while moving due to its small frame. Its hunter nature also usually means that the CR-90 will destroy any other corvettes that are most capable of destroying them. CR-90s also work great as stationary screeners that can be set up in a perimeter to eliminate fighters or corvettes that come towards your fleet. To see just how strong the CR-90 can be, I'd really recommend checking out the gameplay in my ship showcase. It really does have some kick-butt gameplay showing off just how strong these things are against corvettes and fighters. At number 4 is the always great Quasar carrier. The current status of Quasars is very interesting as they have been rebalanced to the point where they are no longer able to be the only ship in your fleet and win battles with the fighters they provide. They now act as more of an escort carrier, bringing enough extra fighters to swing fighter superiority in your favor. The current 2 variants have very distinct jobs. One is to provide fighter superiority, simply meant to kill other fighters and dominate in that area. The bomber variant is meant to punish enemy fleets once they have lost their anti-fighter capabilities. The reason Quasars remain one of the best ships in AOTR is their survivability. Good players can build a Quasar and never lose them for their entire campaign, and with how Quasars work, you can still maximize their effectiveness. The number 3 spot belongs to the all-powerful Dauntless class cruiser. This unit has some of the most consistent raw firepower in the game with its many dual turbo lasers and ion cannons. That means it will rip through enemy shields and then the hull as well. They also come with a jam missile ability, which is very important, as well as a very strong hangar bay with X-Wing flights and B-Wing flights. The downside of this ship is its extremely poor range and its difficulty to create. For starters, this ship has to be at very close range in order to use the majority of its best weapons, making it extremely vulnerable even with its very strong shields and armor. The other con for the Dauntless is its difficulty to obtain them. First, you have to take Solace, which can be hard at times. Then you have to build both Sorosub technologies, which cost a total of 45,000 credits, and then another 20,000 credits to actually build one. Most likely that means you won't be mass producing these ships till mid to late game, where their power is more easily matched by Imperial Star Destroyers and other units as well. However, when you take Solace as the Rebels, you will get a free Dauntless hero, so make sure to 1. Not lose it, and 2. Take advantage of its power in the early game. Overall, the Dauntless can absolutely wreak havoc if used correctly or obtained early on in campaigns. The number 2 spot belongs to the fan favorite MC-30 cruisers. In my opinion, MC-30s are a high damage, high risk unit. They have enough heavy ordnance to take down an Imperial Star Destroyer with only 3 ships, however in my opinion they are not easy to keep alive. You're going to want to keep them moving at all times, and preferably behind the Star Destroyers, otherwise their surprisingly large frames will be easy targets for pretty much every weapon in the game. These ships also don't come super cheap and aren't super easy to obtain, requiring Smallcraft Tech 3. However, obviously along with their poor health comes 4 dual heavy proton torpedoes built for the sole purpose of killing every Star Destroyer ever made. However, credit is deserved where credit is due, as it does do this job well enough to be a fan favorite, although it's not personally my style. As the gameplay shows, just a handful of these units can take down capital ships in just a few volleys, proving it has one of the highest damage outputs in the game. Also, its defensive shield ability adds a slight buff to its survivability. At number 1 for the best all-around ship for the Rebellion has to be the X-Wing. The X-Wing is the backbone of the Rebellion, able to be built right at the start of campaigns and should be used for the entire campaign. At a cheap 900 credits apiece, the X-Wing is the perfect multi-purpose unit capable of executing any role one might need a fighter to do. It can be an escort fighter to heavy bombers or a large fleet, a strike fighter capable of beating pretty much any fighter the Black Sun or Empire can throw at it, and with its 2 light proton torpedoes, it can also act as a bomber to destroy important hardpoints in between its other duties. X-Wings are also very hard to destroy with both shields and an astromech unit, keeping them at top health when they're not fighting. From week 1 to week 1000, the X-Wing will still be able to dominate the fighter engagements, all while being cheap and efficient. One additional point about the X-Wing is its fast speed and ability to close S-foils, making it the perfect Pathfinder unit, as well as its speed helps it cross the battlefield quickly to provide reinforcements where needed. That finishes up my top 5 space units for the Rebel Alliance. As always, I would love to see your top 5s in the comment section below. If you are looking for a more detailed ship showcase that goes into great detail about each ship on the list, check the description for links to each ship's showcase.